Hello, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to another rankings. This week, although the last day has been a very straightforward day and a half, like the day and a half before that was some of the craziest, not even crazy, it wasn't chaotic crazy. It was just like, what are you doing, Cade? Was kind of like the mantra of it. So needless to say, as we said last week, Cade won HOH. And if you watched last week's ranking videos, we thought that people like Anthony and Victoria seemed to be in trouble, and someone like Kristen could have been like in trouble. Um, all was for naught though, as Maris, queen of being a rat, um, ruined that plan.
True, queen of being a rat.
Um, we'll talk about Maris when we talk about Maris. I disagree with you. I think it's very poor gameplay.
Okay.
But um got her way, which is good, and got Anthony and
Oh,
Victoria.
Caitlyn should be in black and white, right?
Yeah, if you can copy that slide, but um, and ended up putting up Alex and K-Pow, not telling them beforehand, told them they were both safe beforehand, actually. They ended up on the block. Alex ended up using a power to, oh,
Okay.
that's a, um, Alex ended up using a power to save himself, which caused Kristen to go up on the block because, as Mara says, they're girls, they'll stick together, Caitlin and Kristen will. That's how it works.
So true.
So they went up, and unfortunately, with those nominations, there were already so many people that wanted K-Pow out, so many people that wanted Kristen to stay, that there really was no hope, even if Caitlin put up a fight, I think. So that's generally what happened. We'll go out into more detail for each person
Let's
as
do
we go down the list.
Okay. That famous good person that we usually always start with, and it's usually good, and now it's
Um,
become bad.
well, uh, I mean, every week a new week starts, and I go, okay, this is the week where we can turn it around, and then we continue to be really stupid.
Poor
Why?
Alex is like, I don't want to do things, and you trash me in your rankings. And we're like,
Well, like here's the thing,
sorry.
Alex. I can only blame
So
Murph and Nora for your game so much. Unfortunately, this week they're gone, and this week you just actively played bad on your own. Um, you're already in a bad spot because you lost all your allies because of Murph and Nora. And this week you proceeded to lie to the few that you had by faking a screenshot for zero reason and then being forced to show that you lied. So now other people really, really, really wanted to target him. Luckily for him, in these last couple of hours after the eviction, he did start to turn around by talking out with those people. But we're not ranking off of post-eviction stuff. We're ranking off of pre-eviction stuff. And I like these in pre-eviction. I can't like if you're at a 4, you're in trouble, but you're not doing anything actively bad. This was actively bad. And there is still a path for him to turn it around, but that path is now really, really tiny. I'm going down to a 3.
yeah, I'm also going down to a 3. He basically just lost, with the exception of Riley, the last person that was gonna be loyal to him and that he could trust.
He
Um,
he lost. I mean, going into this week, he had Dan, Riley, Caitlin. Now Caitlin's evicted. Alex doesn't trust Dan, and even Riley like won't do what Alex says. It seems, and you know what? Rightfully so, because Alex has been wrong. He's now turning it around with Matthew and Cade. I am really interested to see what happens there, but I
I
don't know.
don't think that if I had to predict the end of the week, I don't think he's going to be evicted this week. But
He's
that,
not my top pick for who I think is being evicted, but Alex getting evicted in this upcoming week is not a world that I would be shocked by. I'm going to be honest.
definitely not shocked, but I don't think I would. I think I would put a few other people above him. Um, but he needs to like do something this week. Like he needs to figure his shit out. In To be blunt. Okay.
Oh, Alex has consistently gone down. He's never gone up.
Anthony had sevens for both of us.
How? Sorry, that's the whole statement. Are you kidding me? Listen, okay. So first of all, we did see. I missed season 5 Anthony. I have to say, I missed season 5 Anthony. We did see him a little bit this week.
You missed him.
Um, no, that was me being sarcastic.
Oh, didn't read.
I did not miss season 5 Anthony. But in the tradition of flashbacks this season, we got a little flashback to season 5 Anthony when Anthony heard that he was going up on the block. Oh, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. I'm not even a threat. Like, no, Anthony, you are a threat. So let's own it. But that being said, good job at using your little puppets to get you off the block. And by talking yourself, I will give this. Anthony is amazing at gaslighting because I also think that he believes it himself. That, oh, what? I'm not a threat. I'm not a threat. What am I? Wait, no, look at these people. They're the threats. And that's not the case. Anthony is one of the biggest threats in the game, but I don't even think Anthony believes that, which makes it all the more convincing. And he knows he's lying that he doesn't have any allies. I was really impressed this week. There are still some people that like want to come after him, but I was very impressed. I'm not going like through the high top tier rankings, because I do think he could still be in like a little danger, but I was very impressed this week. So I'm gonna go up to an 8.
I agree with everything you said. That was what I said last week. How he is a good player, and it's so like it's actually like I'm annoyed when he's like getting put on the block, and he's like, "I'm not good." There are people who say like, "Shut up!" Like it's annoying. I'm annoyed by you.
The people that are at the top, I get annoyed with when they refuse to acknowledge that they're at the top and they're good, and the thought of someone putting them up is ridiculous. Like, okay, check yourself first of all,
Yes.
but
Um. Additionally, I mean, what are your thoughts on? I mean, we have an anonymous HOH coming up tonight. Anthony will not win this competition. Honestly, if I'm being really honest, the people that I could see winning tonight are Alex. Kristen has won this before. Um, and like Cassidy. I think those are my top 3 picks for HOH tonight of who I think will win.
is Alex playing?
Oh,
Or
like is
is the
Matthew,
power
as of right now, Matthew said he's not using it.
not using the power?
That's the last thing that I saw. Because he
Oh
said
my
he
goodness.
didn't want to make a bigger threat out. Like he didn't want to sit someone out who would find out it was him, and then
I mean, that's not a horrible
which
idea
like
because
I
also
don't disagree with. Like
if only Matthew knew. Like Matthew,
if
I
you
wish
know.
should have just not told anyone about the power. To be straight up, we'll talk about Matthew, but he needs to be sitting out Anthony and Victoria.
Mhm.
Um, that's besides the point.
So I think that if people are looking to take a big shot this next week, I think it would be Anthony over Dan, who is on the block for sure. He was already targeted this week, and with someone who's an anonymous HOH,
It
depending
depends on who wins because
depending on who wins, he could be in trouble.
there are people that would take the shot at Anthony, and then there are the diehard Anthony puppets.
So it really all depends.
It really depends.
But I'm gonna stay at my 7. It was good work this week with Cade and convincing him not to be on the block, but I worry going into this week for him, to be honest.
And I think that's completely fair.
All right,
Um,
Cade.
oh my God. Okay.
Cade from both of us, yeah.
Yeah, respectfully, Cade, if we said Murph played one of the worst, like, social, personal games, overall games, Cade this season might be just playing like the dumbest. Because Cade's perfect, like he's a great guy, but
That's never good when you start off. He's a great guy.
why
He's really nice.
why in the span of 10 minutes did he tell Cassidy he's not using the veto, tell Kristen he's using the veto on her, and telling Caitlin he's using the veto on her? They all talked and figured out that Cade was lying pathologically, Same thing happened with the nominations. He was changing his plan every 5 minutes, where he told some people that it was Alex and Caitlyn, but then some people that Kristen was in the mix, and other people that it was Anthony and Victoria, and some people that he wanted to backdoor Riley, and other people that Dan was still left right. And I was like, what are you
And also, I don't know if this was
doing?
Anthony spoke really well or Cade is just dumb, but Anthony should have been his target this week.
Absolutely. The fact that Caitlyn and Alex were on the block this week was ridiculous. Matthew was right when he said, Cade, why are you not going after Anthony? And it was right for Maris's game. We'll talk about Maris. When I say Maris played stinky doo-doo, I don't mean because Maris convinced Cade not to put up Anthony. For her, that was good.
Okay, so for Cade, I'm staying at my 3.
Interesting. Staying at a 3.
And he's also like, I don't know if anyone will waste this HOH on taking him out this week, but he is certainly not hanging around here for long, I don't think.
For me, I'm going down to a 2. Because I just think his gameplay was that bad this week. But here's the thing, because taking out Caitlyn was a bad move for him. Very bad move. You did the work of the majority.
Yeah.
Who wanted to take out Caitlyn already. So you're just prolonging your. There's not a majority alliance, but there is a majority of people. Those people are Dan, Cassidy, Anthony, Victoria, Matthew, Kristen, with Riley looped in there as a 7. So Maris.
And that's not one big thing. It's people are connected.
Exactly. It's not an alliance that are all on the same page, because there are people that want to shoot shots at each other in there, which is why the sniper could be interesting. But Cade, who's not in that group, just took out another member that's not in that group.
Yeah.
And the one thing that everyone in that group can universally get behind is that, like, Cade is on the out, Maris is on the out, K-Pow is on the outs, and Alex is on the out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just stupid. The thing is, though, I don't know who necessarily wastes their week on taking out Cade.
Well, I think a lot of people would use their week to take out Cade. I don't know if they would use this sniper week to take out
the
Cade.
Sniper week. When you exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, moving
yeah.
on. Cassidy had 8s from both of us.
Cassidy just continues to really impress me. That sounded like a question because
I'm confused.
Well, it's just like Cassidy is one of my closest friends in real life. I've known her the longest out of everyone on this cast. You cannot deny that, like, girl is a little silly, goofy, cocky. How dare anyone say that I am not smart? I mean, Cassidy, to be fair, you did evict all of your friends and go to the final 3 with the duo. And then got mad when you lost. So, like, I'm just putting that out there. Just putting that in the space to marinate on. But that being said, you cannot deny that Cassidy is playing an amazing game this season. She's got Dan and Anthony. She's got Matthew. She's got Cade. She's got Alex, truthfully. She's got Kristen. She's got Maris, who wanted to work with her. Victoria has continued to show that she'll mostly do what Anthony says. The only people that she has to really worry about, in my opinion, is, like, David, maybe. And David has no social sway. She only has to worry if David wins an HOH. So there's that. I'm really impressed. The only thing I continue to worry about is that she's not going to be wise enough to cut whoever she's with at the end. And I think she's going to want to be like the cool kids and take them to the end, and they're all going to crush her. That's my only worry. I don't have a reason to go up to a 9 for, like, extremely good gameplay. So I'm going to say my 8, but it's a confident 8.
I'm also going to say my 8 for the same reasons. Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's extremely well connected right now. She has the capabilities to start winning competitions. So I think that once that really picks up, once she really wants to, I think she does want to win right now, but once she's able to kind of secure those wins, I think we could see a lot more sway from her in the house, and kind of what she wants to do will happen when she kind of takes those competitions. But I still agree with you. I don't see her. I don't know if she sticks with if Dan and Anthony are even there anymore. I don't see her cutting them at the end because she wants to make it to the end with them, I'm assuming. So I agree with everything that you said. So I'm staying in my 8.
Yep. Dan. Wow. Dan Tatey should not be in this position right now. People should be smarter than this than to let Dan be in this position right now. How this has happened, I do not know. However, good for Dan, because truly Dan got himself to this position. Like, this is not like people just liked Dan. Like, no, Dan was a target week 1 and being on the block. And Dan got in good with nearly everyone. Alex is now sus of Dan, despite Dan really wanting to save Alex. But Alex is like, I can't turn on Dan right now. Anthony's with Dan. Cade's a question mark, but could have and didn't go after Dan. They have like a weird kind of love-hate deal relationship going on. Cassidy is never going to cut Dan. David has this hate to deal with Dan. Kristen is with Dan. Matthew's with Dan. Riley's with Dan. Victoria's with Dan. And Maris, again, isn't going to go against what Anthony says. So, like, Dan is still good with everyone. I'm trying to think of a reason to come down from the 9.
In my eyes, nothing really has changed in terms of Dan's positioning from last week, except for the fact that he wanted Caitlyn out and she's gone. So
the only thing that for me changed a little bit is Cade did consider putting him up and started planting the seeds with people. And granted, didn't, but did. The only other thing that worries me is the fact that there is an anonymous HOH right around the corner.
but even still, like I said, I don't know.
I'm looking at the board and I try to think who nominates him. And the answer is David.
Yeah, for sure.
Because David can do it under the guise of an anonymous HOH.
David's
I don't think anyone else does. And I don't think that David's winning this HOH. But then again, maybe if it's anonymous, he'll try. Like he's throwing the red, like the other ones, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. What's your score?
I'm staying at my 9.
Well, you were at 8 last week, so.
No, I was at a 9.
No, you. Oh, what?
Yeah, I was at a 9. You said that you wanted to go up to a 10, and I said I'm not going up to a 10.
Oh, interesting.
That's why we disagreed. You were saying you were thinking about going to a 10, and I said I'm not going to a 10.
Gotcha. Well, I'm staying on my 9 as well.
All right.
As much as we're in for a possible really interesting jury phase, I think that interesting jury phase is going to revolve around Dan having to just upkeep all of his allies. And they're going to target each other, but they're not going to target Dan. So it's going to be an interesting way for Dan to get to the end. As of right now, that's how I see it.
Okay, moving on to David.
David did good this week. Because I now think there's actually a significant amount of people in this game that won't target David. Cade won't. David, obviously. He made the deal with Anthony and Victoria, who weren't going to target him anyway. I think like even like Maris might not. Like she's got her eyes set on like other people like have other targets now. And David is slipping under the radar. There are the people though that are like, why aren't we targeting David anymore? He's slipping back under the radar. This is what he wants. And it is. And also, David slipping back under the radar is not David slipping into the power structure. He's still on the outs. There's only so much more that he can slip by before we're just like at the group of people that aren't going to target each other. So last week I was at the 3. I am going to raise my score, but I can't go into any of the positive numbers because he's not aligned with anyone. He just has Anthony protecting him practically.
Okay.
So I'm going to go up to a 4.
I'm going to stay at my 4.
I do worry for an anonymous HOH though.
Me too. And also, he has not built the connections I feel like he needs to survive that. So
Exactly.
for
Um,
which might be, oh, it's not his highest. He was at a 4.5 once.
yeah, you gave him 5 ones.
Okay, Caitlin.
Let me just start by saying this. Again, we said it last week. We'll say it again this week. We love Caitlin Powell. Just like seeing in her speech in her DRs being like, this game, I loved playing it with everyone. It brings some like back so much like nostalgia of like how much like this really like means to me and my friend group and like things like that. And like that itself just means the world. Did
Mhm.
we in these last couple of weeks, did we see Caitlin do the most? No. But again, I literally couldn't give a damn because I was so happy to see Caitlin back probably for like one of, if not like the like I can't think of a world where Caitlin like comes back as with most of this cast. Like that's not like a slight against Caitlin. Like that's just this is the end of like this is the last time we're gonna see a lot of these OG players play. It made me really happy to see her play again.
Me too.
Um Unfortunately, game wise, we have a super high rating. She did go home. We the only reason I'm this low is just because we truly didn't see her campaign. I think she was on the block against Kristen. She knew Kristen had more allies, and I don't think that she wanted to put up the fight, not because she didn't want to stay, but because she didn't think it was worth the fight against Kristen and to make the super uphill battle to probably not stay anyway. So it's like I understand. I do understand, but I can't give like a mediocre score for that. I have to go down to a 2, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm also going to it too, which is unfortunate. I love Caitlin.
But we love Caitlin.
I hope I hope she wins this battle back. I keep
Yeah.
thinking of what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not.
No, we yeah, no, last Zoom you saw us being like, oh, we don't want to say anything because we don't know what might happen. We have officially decided we are continuing through with a battle back. So yes,
Okay,
stay tuned for that. We'll talk about that in next week's rankings because that'll heavily affect that.
it'll happen after.
Yeah.
So 2. Okay, Kristen.
Kristen Ray. For someone who was on the block, I'm actually very impressed with Kristen this week
Mhm.
because I think she went from weirdly enough, um, I think Caitlyn going home made like the Caitlyn supporters and allies like Alex and Riley be like, oh, Caitlyn's gone. Okay, so now let's work with the other Caitlyn who is Kristen. Like I really view like weirdly like they're playing very similar games, only Kristen was in the in and Caitlyn was on the outs. But now I see like Alex is wanting to work with Kristen. I can see Riley working with Kristen more. Kristen is on the ends, and gameplay wise, I would consider raising my score this week. She was on the block though, so for that reason alone, I feel like I can't raise it because her position did not get that much better. But I don't have anything negative to say about Kristen's game this week, despite being on the block. I still think she's playing a very good game. The Nora and Murph think that she's running it. Let's make this clear. No, wrong again. Um,
We should
but
have a little check mark on the side. Tallies of how many times they have been wrong.
um,
Too many to
there's
count.
not enough space on my large computer screen for that though. So unfortunately, nix that idea. But I'm gonna stay at my 6 for Kristen. A good old positive score, but nothing too crazy.
I'm saying on my 6 too. I agree. I feel like nobody, when she was next to Caitlyn, was like pretty much even considering getting rid of her because like voting her out. Mainly Alex and Riley were considering voting to keep Caitlyn. But nobody was like, Kristen's gotta go. Like nobody was pushing for that Kristen vote. My worry was that, which is why I'm not raising my score, was that she, if Caitlyn or Alex won the veto, depending on who the replacement nominee was, she could have been in some trouble this week. Um, Especially like, I mean, you said if Dan went on the block, he would have gone.
I don't think he would have gone,
It would
but I
be
don't think it would have been like last time where it's just like, okay, well, Dan's
yeah,
staying.
exactly. So I think that she probably would have gone in that scenario. Um, yeah. So I'm staying at 6.
Thanks. Maris.
Mares.
I'll talk about Maris. I'm gonna start with the good because listen, as much as I'm ratting on Maris for being a rat, there were a lot of good things that happened this week. I want to talk about Maris's short-term game and Maris's long-term game. Maris's short-term game this week was incredible. She convinced the HOH to not go after her other allies in favor of going after someone that she didn't trust. Great. Short-term game, this was amazing. For that reason, I'll say this now, I am raising my score to a 5. So I'll lock that in for me. Here's the thing with her long-term game, though. What she should have been doing right now, and I would have raised it to a 6 even, maybe even a 7, is if she got this alliance with Kate and Matthew and still pushed for Anthony to stay, because that was good for her, why on earth, Maris, are you sending all of the screenshots of exactly what all these people are saying directly to Anthony? Because you know what you're doing? You're taking all of the power and information that you gained and you're giving it all away. And you know what Anthony's doing? He's using it to talk to his actual allies, who are, by the way, not you, and using it to figure out what their plan is to move forward. And guess what? Now, Anthony is going to be going after Matthew, someone who's not good for you to leave either. So what you need to be doing is keep Anthony posted. Hey, Kate was possibly thinking of going after you, but guess what? You're totally good. Or even like not that. Just like make sure that Anthony's not going up on the block. You didn't need to give him all the information because Anthony's not. He's made it very clear Anthony's not working with Maris. Anthony is annoyed with how much Maris is texting him. Like he's not allied with Maris. So the fact that Maris thinks that she's puppeteering all of this and is like, Matthew's so stupid. Is he a more like, no, Matthew is the good player here, and you are throwing away the power position that you could have been in after this week. That's where I think Maris's game consistently flops. Because where she thinks that like Matthew and Cade are her Armani right now, where she can just rat them out. Newsflash, Maris, you're the Armani to Anthony, and you don't see it. You think you're the genius puppet master, and you are just a mere puppet in that equation. So long term, you have no idea what's going on. But short term, I guess this was fine. So 5.
First of all, I think you're overthinking of how much I am praising her. Because you keep.
I mean, to be fair, you are going Queen Maris.
Yeah, well, it's partially joking.
Middle class Maris.
People
okay?
have been saying that all season. Let me join in on the fun a little bit. While I agree with most of what you said, I could see a world where Maris turns it around a little bit and kind of realizes what's going on. I mean, like, we saw a complete 180 from her in season 6. I never, ever, ever, ever would have expected that she would have done that. I thought she was ride with her majority alliance until the end of the game, and then beat them in the end. So you cannot say that she doesn't have what it takes to completely flip the script. But I agree with everything else you've said, and that she currently is completely delusional in where she thinks her spot is right now.
You think she's so good. It's ridiculous.
So I'm only going to a 5 as well. But I could expect some good things from Maris.
I'll be real. I'll eat my words later if I need to. I expect 0 good things from Maris.
Okay, let's move on. Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew. Okay. So Matthew's game continues to be really, really good. Let's talk about the good. He has really locked in Dan and Cassidy. He's really locked in Maris and Cade. Those are 2 opposite sides going after him. He's really locked in Riley. He's really locked in Alex. And he got rid of Caitlyn, someone that he didn't talk to. This is all amazing. who are the two people we haven't mentioned? Anthony and Victoria, who are now going after him with the spitting vengeance because of Mayor
Maris.
Mayor Rat is what I'm calling her now.
Mar
Who has stupidly given out all of
Mariah.
the information. So now, like, I bet you Maris is, I guarantee you, if Anthony takes out Matthew, Maris is gonna be like, yeah, Matthew's so stupid. No, Maris, that's an ally of yours that's going home. Stupid. So I
Yeah.
don't
And
because of
Anthony,
this,
sorry, go ahead.
Anthony is gonna be like, listen, if this
Anthony coming after
Anthony,
you is not a good thing.
when Anthony wants you out, he's not gonna stop until he gets you out. And the person that he wanted out before this, K-Pow, is
Caleb.
gone. So time for a new target, and that target is Matthew. The good news is Matthew has a lot of people protecting him.
Mm-hmm.
The bad news is all it takes is one person to win HOH. And so long as someone is your number one target, or someone is targeting you as like their number one target, I can't stay at an 8. So
I'm going down, but I'm only going down to a 7.
I was considering going all the way down to a 6. However, because of everyone
is
else
very
still
well
loves
protected.
Matthew, he's very well insulated, and I agree. I'm only going down to a 7.
And even you're right with the number one target thing, but every week there's 2 people on the block. Unless he's against the really wrong person, he's really well protected. I think he can make it happen.
I hope so, because I want to see Matthew be the dark horse finisher of the season. Yeah.
Oh, Matthew went down. Okay, Riley.
I'm just continuing, like,
I was at a
literally,
7 last week, and you were at a 6.
yeah. I'm continuously praising tuning the same song. I really have 0 new things to say about Riley this week, other than it's just a continuation of the good. I don't think K-Pow leaving was fantastic for Riley, but it wasn't exceptionally bad. I think that she's gotten good with Victoria, Matthew, Kristen, Dan, Cassidy, Alex. I don't think Anthony would target her. Cade can't win HOHs. Like, no one's targeting Riley. The only way I could see Riley going home is if she goes up as a pawn next to the wrong person, and it's like, Riley went home. But no one's going to target Riley, except for Queen of Delusion, Marat.
Who has a burning vengeance against Riley because she nominated.
God forbid Marat.
Next to Nora.
The
same person that you could be nominated next to.
I don't know. Until she's in more of like the loop, I feel hesitant to go up on her. I'll be real, but I'm not going down. So I'm just gonna stay at my 6 again.
I'm actually gonna stay at my 7. So I say this week after week. I think that she, in a few weeks' time, will be the front runner to win the season. I think
I would love to see that.
I would be, from right now standpoint, I would be surprised if she wasn't in the final 6. Again, always something can happen, things change, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I see her going really far, and I'm really excited for it.
Finally.
But now she's the only person not to go down.
Finally, Victoria.
Yes, nothing new.
I have some new things to say, and it's not about Victoria. It's about what people are saying about Victoria. Let's look at this board now. We're at the stage of the game now where Victoria just being a mindless number is no longer helpful. It's helpful for Anthony, and it's helpful for those that are directly protecting Anthony. But we've seen like Alex say, like, Victoria can go. Cass has said it, Dan has said it, David has actually no, David will protect Victoria. Kristen has said it. I don't think Maris has a huge reason to keep Victoria other than Anthony telling her so, which actually in Maris's world is good enough. Matthew's not keeping Victoria. So like there are people that have said like, yeah, Victoria can go up and like she can go home. Like I don't really care. And like for that, she's not useful to anyone. For that alone, I'm gonna go down to a 3.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. We've said this from the beginning. I don't see Victoria doing anything more than she is currently. I think for anything to, sorry, I'm also going down to 3. For anything to really change with her game, Anthony would probably have to go, and I don't even know if things change. Like I don't even know if she steps up and does anything after Anthony leaves, to be really honest. So yeah, I have nothing else to say about it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Just a quick recap. Dan once again at spot number 1. Cassidy once again at spot number 2. Anthony at spot number 3. These 3 are the 3 that are running the game. This has not changed. I don't see it changing immediately right now. Matthew and Riley right behind them. That's not shocking. They're the kind of the underdogs to overtake them if they can. The issue is, I think they're on track to overtake one of them and then still ride with the other 2. So it'll be interesting. Down at the bottom, Caitlin went home. Unfortunately, Victoria, no one needs her. Cade was dumb, and Alex this week, to continue the metaphor, the ship was completely sunk. And this week he was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the ocean. How'd I get in the ocean? What? I don't want to be in the ocean. And it's like, you did it to yourself though. That's the
You had a
metaphor.
ship and you had a lifeboat, and
And
apparently
now both are, now it's all
there was
gone.
a house too somewhere and a basketball court. I think they're
You
all
better
gone.
swim to shore and swim to shore fast.
How far away is he from shore?
I don't know. There's a couple of options for beaches. I'll be interested to see which one he chooses, and if like a wave, if this water will come up and sink into the sand, or it'll do this to the beach. Oh,
Like
how
take
waves
him
do
back,
that.
like
They
take
go
him back
forward.
out to sea.
Yeah, he might take it back out to
Is
sea.
there
I
an
don't know.
option where a wave takes him into like a cliff or something, like a set of rocks?
Oh, maybe.
Like he
We'll
trusts
see.
somebody and then he gets evicted for it.
He's going to shore, and we'll see what this shore looks like soon.
I'm honestly so excited to see what nautical direction Alex DiGiacomo chooses to swim
I
in.
can't wait to make this a cartoon after.
Okay,
Okay.
that's everything. Okay, bye. See you when someone else comes back into the game. Oh, great.